Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. As I promised you last week, our guest tonight is Carl Hammond and the Carl Hammond Trio. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Carl Hammond. We're going to do a brief interview, of course. And Carl is a very accomplished musician, composer, conductor, professor of music. And he studied in the United States as well as Australia, where he obtained a PhD. Now, the members of the group are Carl Hammond.
Top of the morning to you, John.
Top of the morning. Yeah, okay. Well, this is our new show. And Antonio. And Alvaro on drums.
Hello.
Okay. They also are Chileans. Carl, of course, is an American and has put together a group, and we hope that you're going to enjoy the music that you're going to hear. It's a little bit different than last week's show, of course, but we are here and the beautiful clan in Santiago, Chile. Carl, what are you going to play for us?
Well, John, we thought maybe to open the show tonight we might do Stella by Starlight, that great old jazz standard.
That's a great old jazz standard. I remember that song. Yeah, and of course, whenever
you don't look that old, John.
No, but I got to tell you something. I like classic films. I like classic music. I like the old music. As a matter of fact, I'm compiling a. All right, Carl, let's go. We're at the clan in Santiago, Chile. us a little bit about your history. Now, you studied in where?
Well, I got my bachelor's and master's from the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. And my PhD, as you mentioned before, I got from the University of Sydney in Australia.
And of course, you played all over the world.
Well, there are a few places I haven't been to yet, but in a number of places.
Okay, and you enjoy your music, obviously. We heard you last night, and it was super, so to speak. And now, who have you played with famously? You played in Los Angeles also, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I freelanced in Los Angeles for a few years, in Toronto, and in Sydney, and London for a short time. Well, let's see, I played with, well, let's see, Bob Hope, and this could take a while, Al Martino, Nancy Wilson, Ray Charles, let's see, Frank Gorshin, Phyllis Diller, Shirley Jones, Trini Lopez, Fabian, Bobby Benton, etc.
So you had a broad range of exposure to the music business, right? Even though some of those, weren't they, some of they were kind of rock groups and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So you had a wide range. And what made you decide to come to Chile?
Well, you know, it was kind of interesting. Excuse me. Excuse me again. My wife and I, we're looking around for someplace else to live, so we decided to look around in various places in Latin America. So we investigated certain countries in South America and Central America, and after a couple of visits here, it was fairly clear to us that this was the logical choice. So we came here to Santiago 2 years ago and have never looked back. We've never regretted it for a moment.
And of course, you teach at Pro Jazz, a jazz school here. How is the jazz scene in Chile? It's growing, isn't it? Or it's always been very popular. People here like jazz. Yeah. And how do you find it here?
Well, it's very good, and of course, thanks to the upcoming generation, like my colleagues here, Alvaro and Antonio, there are a number of students who are and young jazz musicians who are going to take the world by storm one day. And also there seems to be a growing but really avid young audience for jazz here too, which is quite gratifying. Good.
Okay, Carl, what are you going to play for us now? One of your own compositions or something else?
Well, we'll do something else. Unfortunately, we didn't put together any originals today, but we've got a great old standard bossa nova. Just to get a little bit of variety here, by Antonio Carlos Jobin, for anyone who is a fan of bossa novas. Of course, Jobin is the greatest composer of the lot, and this is a marvelous piece called Triste.
Okay, let's do it.
Un, dos, un, tres.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Carl Hammond Trio. Carl, of course, is also the conductor of a big band orchestra as well as a quartet. I want to thank the members of the group. Alvaro, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Antonio, muchas gracias. And of course, my very good friend Carl. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, John.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Now, for those of you who are sitting at home watching this on your television or video and saying, who's that? My name is John Allan, and this has been our show. Hope to see you again next week. Same station, same time. Good night, everybody.